I'm sure that every man out there has, at one point of their lives, wished to own a mech. Or am I just a strange one? The mecha anime genre has always been a favorite of mine because of how easy it is to integrate to any other genre. You want a harem? Bam! Infinite Stratus. You want an action-packed, brainless, fun anime? Here, Gurren Lagann. But in the world of mechas, there is only one franchise that deserves the name of the king of mechs. Anyone who has been in contact with the anime world, even for a moderate amount of time, has probably heard of this name, Gundam. Hello audience, today on Yvern Box we'll be looking at Gundam 00. The first full-length anime series to have come out bearing the shining letters Gundam since the widely acclaimed fan favorite Gundam Seed and its more shunned upon sequel, Gundam Seed Destiny. Spanning over 2 seasons and wrapped up in the movie Awakening of the Trailblazer, this Sunrise production was directed by Seiji Mitsushima, best known for directing Shaman King and the original Fullmetal Alchemist, and written by Yosuke Kuroda, who was involved in works like Batum, Please Teacher, and Trigun. Gundam 00 feels like a very typical Gundam show, but that in and of itself makes it a very interesting show as far as anime plots go. In the Gundam 00 universe that is taking place in 2307 AD, making it the closest show to our real-life timeline, the world is split into 3 major factors, each gunning for the throne. During a combat exercise to demonstrate one of the 3 factions' new tech, a mysterious mobile suit appears and quickly destroys this new tech, but leaves without any further damage. This sparks a series of events that leads to the revelation of this 4th party, who calls themselves the Celestial Beings, an organization that shall serve as the greatest intervention squad to minimize the damage caused by the other 3 nations' constant competition. Like Gundam Seed or older Gundam series, Gundam 00 focuses a lot on politics and the inner workings of it. Viewers will see different perspectives on the same subject, and each one being understandable. A problem that some people might have with the series though is that it takes itself very seriously. Little humor will be found, though there are some short moments. Granted, if you are in it for a show with an epic scale, you'll find it. The plot remains solid throughout this whole series, with mini climaxes in each episode, and a slightly bigger climax at the end of each arc. However, the show starts off in a very confusing manner, and for those who are just exploring different animes after passing through more conventional choices, this can be somewhat unwelcoming. However, the story will and does bring itself together, and eventually it works out pretty decently. The only major problem that I had with the series though is its ending. To recap, the Gundam 00 series was divided into 3 different forms. You have Season 1, Season 2, and the movie. In a way we have 3 endings, don't get me wrong, the 3 endings will be spectacular, but they don't really give any sense of closure, and if they do, it's a bizarre one. Season 1 ending didn't matter much to me because I knew that there's a 2nd season waiting for me. Furthermore, if you have yet to watch the series, you might as well marathon it so you don't have to worry too much about the endings for either seasons and to then watch the movie, but even then. Not to repeat myself, but the story of Gundam 00 is nothing less than epic, so it needs quite a cast to succeed in presenting such an epic story. The show has an abundance of characters, all of which will eventually tie in one to another. It would be hard to talk about any series without talking about the main characters. For me, Gundam 00 was a dual protagonist series much like Gundam Seed. However, the focus this time is not on the civilian who becomes a soldier, but the soldier looking for peace. Think of reverse Kira Atherin. The main focus here though is Setsuna F. Seiya. On the surface, Setsuna is a very boring guy. He speaks very little, and sometimes when he talks you wonder if he's got a clear mind. Setsuna rarely goes farther than answering a question or telling himself that he's a Gundam. This is a very interesting contrast to the last big Gundam series, Gundam Seed, where every character seems to have a quota of words that they have to fill. It's strange to say this, but this is actually very refreshing. Setsuna is a man of few words, but he speaks through his actions. Unlike early Kira, and even more unlike Atherin, Setsuna is very resolute in his actions to achieve his goal. He does not hesitate, he does not back down, and he does not smile. On the other hand, we have Saji Crossroad. Unlike Setsuna, Saji loves to complain and to voice his opinion. He starts off with a very uncaring attitude toward world events, as long as it does not really affect him. However, events will affect him and those close to him, and he constantly seeks someone to blame. As much as I would like to continue on about how annoying of a character Saji is, he is actually a necessity for the series. We must remember that Gundam shows love to play with themes of war versus peace, benefits of the few versus benefits of the many, but never really touches upon a more black and white approach to what is right or wrong. The same way there are sadly 50 Shades of Grey, each person is right to a certain degree about anything. So while Setsuna belongs to the category of characters who believe that the ends justify the means, like Lelouch v Britannia or Light Yagami, though to a smaller extent, Saji represents the type of characters who blame others and acts like cowards, much like the ever-popular Shinji Ikari. This character of people are actually the ones that represent society best and only helps enrich the believability or credibility of the series. Apart from these two characters, there are codenamed Lock-On, Alleluia, and Pieria who round up the Gundam Meisters, each one being more than fantastic characters with enough development to make viewers care for them. With these three, that rounds up the primary protagonists. The supporting cast aren't to be ignored though. Sumeragi, Felt, Christina, Marina, Ismail, and Louise rounded the primary female characters. Although visually they certainly are a step up from Gundam Seed, the female characters in the series are not only here to serve as fan service, but instead presents us how anime could present women as strong, independent, yet not invincible people. The villains are plentiful, as in any Gundam series, though the first season presents us a very vague antagonist, the second season an obvious antagonist, and the movie something. Though I wouldn't go as far as to praise the villains for quality, because we have seen the same type of villains done better elsewhere. The villains as a whole make up a fine batch of characters that will be more than enough to set things in motion. The minor characters fill out the holes, and there are more than enough of those. Although they only exist to enrich the story, there are a few who stand out for me, and the series only gets better with them. Calling Gundam 00 beautiful would be an understatement. It almost felt like there was never a shortage of budget. From the opening, we can see the quality ooze through, and there isn't much more any self-respecting otaku can ask. The sound is simply amazing, from the little beeps to major explosions. Viewers are presented quite a wide selection. The music is much better than most, though nothing I would consider groundbreaking or award-winning. The first opening, for example, started off as being iffy for me, but slowly grew into something much more beautiful than it originally was. One thing needs to be said though, all the music chosen were probably the ones that suited the show best. The first opening to season 1 was soothing at the beginning, but started picking up near the end, which represented perfectly the first season goal of introduction and the first climax. The second season's opening, in comparison, is much more fast-paced and, can I say, energizing, which fits the more action-packed season 2 perfectly. Now, before talking about voices, let me just let out a dark secret. I watched this in dub. Yes, this is an old habit of mine. I have always watched my Gundam shows in dub. I did not regret it in the original, I did not regret it in Wing, I did not regret it in Seed, and I did not regret it in 00. Between you and me, Gundam Show has always been a perfect example of an anime that is good in dub or sub, with a high level of quality put into both quote-unquote versions. Setsuna's harsh tone was well done, Saji's voice was much better than it could have been, and the rest of the cast are more than solid. Would I recommend dub or sub? Honestly, I prefer dub when it comes to animes that I consider epics, because those are usually well done, see Fate Zero or even Code Geass, and the disappearance of the need to read is a major plus to get yourself into the show. As a complete package, Gundam 00 hit every right key for me and will serve as a good baseline for all future Gundam series. No real Gundam review would be complete without a look at the Gundams that were introduced. Aligning with the rest of the series as a whole, the mechs are all beauties for the eyes with major respects given for the GN drives and the particles that come out of it. The XE and the 00 line specifically look amazing with the traditional blue, white, yellow, and red colors, but the others also deserve mention too. Watching a sniper Gundam fire a long-range beam was satisfying, watching plane converting Gundam fly around the battlefield was enjoyable, and watching the Fat Man Gundam obliterate was fantastic. In an attempt to conclude the 00 series, a 2-hour-long movie oddly named Awakening of the Trailblazer was made. The movie attempted to fill in the gaps that the original 2 seasons might have left and tried to make an epilogue of some sort for all the important characters. I have no complaints for the aesthetics. The movie retains the same standards in terms of visuals and sound that the anime first set. However, a question must be asked if the movie was necessary. To completely answer this, we have to first consider the plot of the movie. Unlike most other animes where the world is saved, like between Gundam Seed and Gundam Destiny, or even Avatar The Last Bender and Korra, where viewers are shown that things aren't as easy as beating this guy equals peace, the movie brings instead a alien invasion. In many ways, the movie felt more as a way to bring in more cash rather than as a way to strengthen the 00 series. Granted, as with any sequel or continuation, I would simply watch because more 00 is never bad, and in fact it isn't. However, the standalone feel that the movie exuded was quite unappealing for diehard fans. We do see how the characters have lived on after the end of the second season, but other than that, for that reason, the movie was somewhat unnecessary. Gundam 00 was everything I expected from a Gundam show. Serious plot, some romance without it becoming obnoxious, hateable villains, and well, mechs. Everything that the older Gundam series might have over 00 is at least balanced by the beautiful aesthetics of the show. The first season captures the interest, the second one dumps down on us more of what we love, and the movie is at least fun to watch. Either way, I would definitely recommend this show to anyone who loves mechs, but it is still a more than enjoyable series for anyone who simply wants an epic anime. Thank you for watching my review of the Gundam 00 series. Feel free to leave your thoughts in comments, or maybe just suggest a series for me to review. Of course, subscribe if you like what you see, because it really goes a long way in motivating me. Anyway, like always, this has been Yvern and my box.